So, dear students, this is in continuation of our previous session where we were discussing about history of artificial intelligence. We were discussing regarding this general problem solver. Uh, GPS was probably the first program to embody the thinking humanly approach. That was the last point we discussed. In continuation, at IBM, Nathaniel Rochester and his colleagues produced some of the first AI programs. Herbert constructed the geometry theorem prover. So it was trying to prove the theorems far better than the then mathematics students, which was able to prove theorems that many students of mathematics would find quite tricky. And Lisp, which is a famous programming language even used now, Lisp was invented by John McCarthy in 1958 while he was at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In 1963, McCarthy started a lab at Stanford. And then we have Tom Evans' analogy program. Solve geometric analogy problems that appeared in IQ test generally. Then a bit of reality between 1966 to 1973. From the beginning, AI researchers were not shy about making predictions of their coming success. They were bold enough to announce that they will be successful in the field, and they were very much confident of the things. That is easily visible with this Herbert Simon's statement way back in 1957. The following statement by Herbert Simon in 1957 is often quoted. What did he say? "It is not my aim to surprise or shock you, but the simplest way I can summarize is to say that there are now in the world machines that think, that learn, and that create." In 1957, Simon is saying this. There are now in the world machines that think, that learn, and that create. Well, he is bold enough to say that create, but still we did not have the systems which can create another intelligent system. So all probably that will be like your RoboFilm. Moreover, their ability to do these things is going to increase rapidly until in a visible feature, the range of problems they can handle will be coextensive with the range to which the human mind has been applied. He was bold enough to say the human mind capability as what it is working, the robo or the agent which gets developed will have a coextensive with the human mind. So that was the boldness in his statement, and almost all his statement has come to reality to maximum extent, of course. And then we have these knowledge based systems, the key to power. Of course, they are giving good power. Dendral was an influential pioneer project in artificial intelligence of 1960s, and that was like an expert system, the computer software expert system that it produced. Its primary aim was to help organic chemists. So Dendral was mainly aimed at organic chemists in identifying unknown organic molecules by analyzing their mass spectra and using knowledge of chemistry. It was done at Stanford University by Edward Feigenbaum, Bruce Buchanan, and Lederberg and Curl. And then AI went on becoming an industry from 1980. In 81, the Japanese announced the 5th generation project, a 10-year-old plan to build intelligent computers running Prolog. Prolog is a programming language. Overall, the AI industry boomed from a few $1 million in 1980 to billions of dollars in 1988. Slowly investment came. Now, the neural networks came back into scenario. Psychologists including David Rumelhart and Geoff continued the study of neural net models of memory. In recent years, approaches based on hidden Markov models have come to dominate the area of AI. Speech technology and the related field of handwritten character recognition are already making the transition to widespread industrial and consumer applications. The Bayesian network formalism was invented to allow efficient representation of and rigorous reasoning with uncertain knowledge. So slowly AI has become a science. And what can AI do today? The state of the art situation is far better than what it was earlier. Autonomous planning and scheduling is possible with the help of AI. For example, 100 million miles from Earth, NASA's Remote Agent program became the first onboard autonomous planning program to control the scheduling of operations for a spacecraft. Remote Agent generated plans from high-level goals specified from the ground, and it monitored the operation of the spacecraft as the plans were executed, detecting, diagnosing, and recovering from problems as they occurred. So autonomously it did all these things. And then we have it in game playing. IBM's Deep Blue became the first computer program to defeat the world champion in a chess match when it bested Garry Kasparov by a score of 3.5 to 2.5. So in an exhibition match, Garry Kasparov was defeated by IBM's Deep Blue. So that was a level of slowly development came in. And then we have this autonomous control Elvin. The computer vision system was trying to steer a car to keep it following a lane. It was placed in CMU's NavLab computer control minivan and used to navigate across the United States for 2,850 miles, 2850 miles it has traveled. It was in control of steering the vehicle 98% of the time. It has controlled the vehicle successfully. And then we have this diagnosis. Medical diagnosis programs based on probabilistic analysis have been able to perform at the level of an expert physician in several areas of medicine. So we can have, like for example, if I give some symptoms, whether the disease is there or not, that can be diagnosed by the expert system. And then we have this logistic planning. One good example we are having here. During the Persian Gulf crisis of 1991, US forces deployed a dynamic analysis and replanning tool DOT to do automated logistics planning and scheduling for transportation. They have a very large fleet of vehicles, around 50,000 vehicles. This involved up to 50,000 vehicles, cargo and people at a time, and had to account for starting points, destination, routes and conflict resolution among all parameters. So what AI did? The AI planning techniques allowed a plan to be generated in hours, just in hours it has generated, that would have taken weeks with the older methods. The Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, stated that this single application more than paid back DARPA's 30-year investment in AI. So that much they gained with this particular application. And then in case of robotics, many surgeons now use robot assistance in microsurgery. I hope you observe big advertisements while you are traveling on the other side of the road where they claim for robotic surgery, robotic knee replacement, etc. HipNav is a system that uses computer vision techniques to create a three-dimensional model of a patient's internal anatomy and then uses robotic control to guide the insertion of a hip replacement prosthesis. This is what I was quoting. Then we have this language understanding and problem solving. Proverb is a computer program that solves crossword puzzles better than most humans. Using constraints on possible word filters, a large database of past puzzles, and a variety of information sources including dictionaries and online databases such as list of movies and the actors that appear in them. With all these, it is doing excellent. And that was in 1999. Let us have a small abridged history of AI. In 1943, McCulloch and Pitts, they have come out with Boolean circuit model of brain. McCulloch-Pitts model of neural network it's called as. In 1950s, Turing has come out with computer machinery and intelligence, his Turing test proposal. It was in 1956 in Dartmouth meeting where actually artificial intelligence term was adopted, and it was given by John McCarthy. So in 5269, look ma no hands. This was regarding the vehicle moving from one place to the other place on its own. And in 50s we have early AI programs, including Samuel's Checkers program. The Checkers program has bested Samuel, Neville and Simon's logic theorist, and Galanter's geometry engine. Then in 65, Robinson's complete algorithm for logical reasoning was developed. It was in between 66 to 73, AI discovers computational complexity, neural network research almost disappears. There was a problem with neural networks that it cannot handle the data of multi-dimensional sort of thing. We'll come to those things, and like XOR problem, non-linearly separable data. So because of that, it was all down. And during 69 to 79, early development of knowledge based systems was there. During 80s, AI becomes an industry, and 86 neural networks returns to popularity with the invention of backpropagation algorithm, and 87 AI becomes a science. And from 95 onwards, the emergence of intelligent agents came up. So this is a simple comparison of human brain and computer. Thank you. We will discuss further things in the next session.